Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's card we're going to make a shaped gingerbread house from the Honeybee Stamps, the House Builder and the Gingerbread Stamps and Dies add-ons. Oh, that's a lot of information. Anyway, and so I've started off by cutting out two of the bases. You'll need two of these if you want to make a shaped card out of it. And I used one in just a white cardstock which is going to be the back and the inside, so that doesn't matter what colour that is. And then I've got this sort of, I think this is Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, so for like the roof and the base, the main pieces of the house to look like gingerbread. So for the centres of what will be, they look like little cookies, but they're going to be the centres of my windows. So I just added a bit of yellow ink to the centre there, just so that it looks a little bit like it's glowing. That was the idea anyway. You can't see that too much. And then I've got some brown ink, or this is vintage photo. I've got all distress inks today, I believe, or for the most part. And I'm just going around the edges with that, just so it gives it that sort of slightly tinted burnt edge cookie that you would have, or gingerbread that you would have at Christmas. So I'm also going to take a stencil. Well, this is an old Stampin' Up one, which is just little bricks, and I've just used that around the edge, over the top of the base part, so not the roof lined, the top half, which is the roof. You're not going to see it, so there's no point inking it, but you can, of course, if you want to. If it makes you feel better, then do that. And then this is the roof, and it does actually emboss some sort of the same as the edging on the bottom part of the roof. You'll see it come through a little bit with the inking, and you can see it better in real life, but it just gives that same sort of, like, there's a I don't know what it's called, but like the slats on the roof, I guess. So that's quite sweet. And I think also another touch, which I didn't do in this video, is on where the curve is, you could add a white dot and it would look like a bit of icing on the thinking gingerbread house. So just inking all my brown pieces, and they will make sense the more we do this. There was a chimney piece and the sort of window that's up in the roof. I can never remember the name of that, so forgive me for that. And then I'm now gonna, what am I doing yet next? Oh, I'm gonna stick the card base to the front of the card. So there's this little die that cuts out this sort of funny length of strip of cardstock, and there is a score line in the middle, and you just, it's actually easier than I might make it look, but it's score it down the middle and then tape either side, and this becomes the hinge for the gingerbread house, or for the house shape. And this idea you can do for any shaped card, really. They've done the hard work and just created a die that you just use and cut out, and it's all done for you. But you could create a hinge and use that with any of your dies to create that hinge, so that you've got that card instead of trying to do it like the other ways that we've done it in the past. And this will just open up simply with the hinge in it, so you can use it for a number of things, not just cards. And then I'm going to start putting some of the main pieces together. So I do have the roof that I'm going to stick on here, but first I want to put some extra snow underneath, so it looks like the snow's slightly under the roof line. So I was trying to sort of figure out where I wanted to put this, just so that it stuck out enough before I actually stuck the roof on. So don't forget, you can add like dimension to this. I just stuck everything flat, except a couple of the characters, which you'll see later on, but mostly I stuck everything flat. And then that way, you still get that dimension when you do this, because it's creating that little like scenery for the card. And then there was some excess snow, if you like, hanging off there. In hindsight, I could have actually left it. I'm looking at this now, I'm editing. I could have probably left most of that snow overhanging the edges there, but I decided not to, and I just trimmed it off so it's sort of somewhat lined up with the edge of the roof line. It whatever makes you happy. So, And then, so now it just looks, it could have gone a bit lower actually, in all fairness. And then I've got another piece that I cut out, exactly the same thing. And these were cut out, all the white pieces, not all the white pieces, but these white pieces for the like snowy bits were cut using some white glitter cardstock, just so it got that sparkle. So again, I'm trimming the edges here along the roof line, just so that it's sort of more uniform. It looks like it's just sat on top of the roof, not, you know, like an ice sculpture going out from the roof. So, and then I have this little, like what will become the little window in the top of the little roof line, in the top of the roof, or in the roof, I suppose. And this too has its own little like cookie shape that goes and can go in the top. You can obviously use this in other parts of the house as well, not just for this top window. And then I'm going to put the little chimney on, which again has got some embossed areas on it, which sort of just adds that look of like bricks on there, and also a little snow that goes on top of that, which is very cute. And then this little brown piece is going in the center of that to make it look like a cookie window, if you will. And I'm actually going to stamp my sentiment in there, which is why I didn't add there's like another round, I believe, or there is somewhere. I've seen a round like window shape that can go in that top section. And then this part of the roof also has a bit of snow that you can add on. So this is also where you can add that dimension at the back. You can add some foam to the back of that, and that will just create that depth in the roof line. But you don't have to, obviously, and I obviously didn't. So here I'm just trying to find roughly, because we know what I'm like with straight lines and all that kind of stuff, where the middle is. So it sort of works. And so I'm just getting the door, and again there's this lovely little like cookie cutter outside for the doors and the windows and everything. And then I have these from ages ago. These are called, I think they were La-Di-Da. I think that's what the name of the company. They did like smash books and stuff. Anyway, I have had these for years, and they're just little like quite high, but they're like little enamel dots kind of thing. So I used one of them as if it was a giant candy for the door handle. I thought, why not? But you could use anything. You could use a bit of Nouveau crystal drops. You could, you know, to create that round door handle. You can use the door handle from the original house builder, which is teeny tiny, but you could use that, or you could use a little dot. You could draw it on. You could use a gem or a, you know, something else, whatever you want, but just to get that door on there, the handle on there. And I'm sure there must be a die in there that I probably missed, but I thought that was a cool idea. And then the curtains are from the original house builder, and I've used those just in another contrasting colour, and just a colour I think is going to work really nicely with the rest of everything that's going on. And I don't know why, but I had some trouble trying to get these to stick to the inside of the windows. So I don't know why, but they eventually go on and it's fine. I was just trying to line them up somewhat so that so you could see them nicely, basically. And so I just fiddled and faffed with it for a bit. And like I say, I don't know why it took me so long to do this, because it's not that difficult. But this is me we're talking about. And then what I'll do is I'll then stick all of that to the white cookie that, you know, that sort of shape that we've got there for the windows, where we've added the yellow glow for the inside. And then you'll just see that through, but by the end you can't see too much of it, but it is there. So that's another thing. If rather add things like that in, like the glow behind the, you know, in the window, and then that way if it does get covered up, it doesn't matter, you know it's there. And if it doesn't get covered up because of everything else that you're doing, then that way you can you'll still see that, and it'll glow in the background. So, and just give a nice little hint of colour. So eventually I thought of a slightly easier way to do this. So I got the second set of curtains on, and what I also did was I just added some whites with a white gel pen, just some white dots onto the curtains, just to give them a little bit of something. If you've got a really tiny detail stamp that has like little dots or stripes or something like that, you could, or gingham, that would work. I did look at my gingham stamp that I have, that's a lawn fawn stamp, but it was still too big. The pattern was still too big, even the small one. So I just went with the draw it and do it yourself dots and added those on, and that is fine. It's just an extra bit of detail. So now we've got the main part of the house done, windows, door, and it's all got this cookie thing going on. So all of these, I did colour these off camera because there were a lot of pieces to cut. I didn't know how many I was going to need, and I just stamped and cut a whole bunch of these out. I do actually have the coordinating dies for this, which is shocking because I don't have a lot. I don't do that too often because I have my scan and cut. But it took a little while just to get it all cut out and coloured in more than anything. I think it took me about, I want to say nearly an hour just to colour them and then get them cut out. So it's a long time for that. So I didn't want to try and film that. But yeah, so I hope that's okay with you guys. So I chose to use, there's tons of things in the stamp set, just FYI. So I chose to use the candy canes, the wreath. I actually cut 2 of the wreaths out in 2 different colours, but it didn't quite work out how I was imagining that I could layer them on top of each other. I think if I'd used the wreath that is actually in the original house, where it's a die cut of a wreath rather than a stamped and then die cut, it would have had more detail, and I could have done the thing I was thinking in my head where I could have like 2 tones of colour on the wreath. And then I'm just going along, I've stuck some of the candy canes next to the door. I thought that was cute. And then I've got a few different colours of these, what are these things, like giant jelly tots? Other brands are available. Giant jelly sweet things, that's what I imagine them to be, those like sugar coated sort of sweets. And actually, as it turned out, more or less, they pretty much fit either side of the house pretty evenly. So other side of the door, sorry, pretty evenly. So that was just a happy accident. And then I did cut out all the a whole bunch of like little sweets and the peppermints and the little lollipops and things like that. But I found that I actually had too much in the end. So I did eventually have to say to myself, right, enough. So what I did is, my camera died unfortunately, but I put the presents in the sleigh and actually stuck that to the top roof. I then put the lights onto the wreath and the bows onto the top, the little where the sentiment is on the roof, and each of the windows. And then I'm popping up my main characters, which are these 2 little gingerbread people. There's a little girl and a little boy, and it's so cute. And there's little hats as well, so you don't have to use the hats. I stuck the hats on. I thought, why not? It's Christmas. And then I also stamped one of the sentiments from that stamp set into the little top section, because why not? Now, because I had got to that point where I just needed this done, it took a long time to do this one. For some reason, I was doing it in bits and pieces, and it just was starting to get to that point where I just needed it finished. I would also add more white detail to, like I say, the roof line, and possibly add some sparkle and shimmer and shine with, some other products to the lights and things like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys, and I'll see you next time.